You know what? I was just thinking this is going to be a part 2 to my orientation video that I just did. I didn't really talk much about my orientation. I talked more about my first appointment and when it was and why I'm not happy about when it is and blah, blah, blah. Well, during the orientation, it was actually funny. I just wanted to put this stuff in here. It was cool. They did it in a different wing from what they do, or where they have the bariatric center. You go to this room and either the nurse, the dietitian, or the social worker does it, I guess, or the nutritionist, I think she said too. I guess they all take turns and they do a PowerPoint presentation. They do a video that you watch, and in the video there's a bunch of people who have already had it done who talk about it, and the things that went through their heads and what their concerns were, and then afterwards, and would you do it again, and blah, 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 which was all well and good. Then the PowerPoint presentation, I think after the video, we took a break for about 5-10 minutes, and then continued on with the PowerPoint presentation. And we had the dietitian. She was a very nice lady for the most part. I think I pissed her off a couple of times, simply because she spoke about some support groups that they have in the hospital. Like, I guess every second Monday, or every first Monday and every third Wednesday or something like that of every month, they have a support group that goes on in the same room, and talking about going on like obesityhelp.com and stuff like that for support. Now, when she had mentioned that, I actually put my hand up, and when she acknowledged me, I said that there was a great weight loss community on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube as well, that these people could find support in if they so chose. She wasn't happy with that, which I didn't understand, because honestly, we're all doing this in our own individual lives. Some of us will meet each other, some of us won't. Because we live in different parts of the world, we live in different parts of the country, but we all suffer from the same afflictions, and that is that most of us have mental problems that make it so that we either overeat or we eat the wrong things and don't pay attention to taking care of ourselves and our bodies. Some of us are overweight because we have health problems that are compounded by mental issues. Okay? So, at the end of the day, we're all in this together, and I don't know about any of you, but wherever I can get help and support and like-minded people, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say something to other people that are in the same situation as I am and looking to change it. I'm going to let them know that there are these other supports out there so that they can also avail themselves of them. So, anyways, now that I've gone off on that tangent, because it has, been bothering me, but, I'm just that type of person. Certain things bother me. She went on with the PowerPoint presentation, and my husband was actually pleasantly surprised, because I've been watching videos since pretty much the end of November in 2016. All of your guys' videos on YouTube, and learning all the different things that all of you say, and I've been telling my husband all about these things as I watch each new video and, as I'm gaining new information, okay, well, this is what we can expect, and this is what we can expect, and this is what this person's saying, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So I asked him at the end of her presentation, what did you think? And he's like, I already knew all this stuff. And I was like, why'd you know all of it? And he's like, because you've already told me all of this stuff. He said this was just pretty much redundant. But it's part of the process that we have to go through, unfortunately, because if you don't, they won't allow you to go through any of the rest of it. Now, in the presentation, she did mention, and this is a question I did ask her, and she knew absolutely nothing. I quit smoking November 22nd, okay? So I am just over 4 months smoke-free. When I quit smoking, I used a vaporizer. I still use it occasionally. The first time in the last week that I've used it was this morning. Just had a couple of puffs. I've gone the previous 5 days, 7 days without a puff. Sometimes when my husband and I argue, I find I need it. Most of the time, I'm finding I don't even touch it. So, smoking due to stress no longer bothers me, which I find extremely awesome, because that is the reason when I have quit in the past that I have taken it back up. I worked through the nicotine in the liquids a lot faster than they recommended that I do, and actually had myself off of the nicotine in a month and a half onto no nicotine. So since January 15th, I quit November 22nd. Okay, I went to 12 milligrams. When it was too strong, I went to 6. When it felt too strong, I went to 3. When that felt too strong, I decided to do the 0. That was January 15th. I've had no nicotine since January 15th. When I first switched over to no nicotine, it was hard. To a degree, I found myself craving a lot more often. I found that for the first 4 weeks, I had that thing in my hand all the time. All the time. I was always puffing off of it, whatever. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. I'm going through withdrawals of nicotine, even though I've weaned myself off a lot faster than they recommended, but whatever. I don't care, because it means that I don't smoke anymore. I just had my birthday on March 19th. I turned 38. I had some girlfriends over, and, my sister and another friend and my husband and we were all drinking, and we had a great time. And my husband got me a guitar for my birthday, so I get to learn how to play guitar. Awesome. It's a very, very, very sleek looking black Epiphone, which is just the bomb. So whatever, you drink, you want to smoke. Like constantly lighting a smoke when you're drinking. I just puffed on that occasionally over the night. Didn't have a fucking problem. Not one. I was very happy about that. Well, I guess where I had originally pissed this lady off was at the beginning of her presentation. She had said that they expect you, before you go for your first appointment, to be smoke-free for 6 months. I have been smoke-free for 4. I haven't had nicotine since January 15th. By the time I have my appointment, it will have been over 6 months that I have had no nicotine in my system, which is fine. Now, she said that they expect you to be nicotine-free. So I asked her, up to and including e-cigs. So I asked her, this is a vaporizer. This is fluid that I puff on occasionally with no nicotine in it. Is that okay, or do you guys expect that I stop using this as well? And she couldn't even answer my question. So I think that frustrated her originally, which is fine, whatever. So then, towards the end of the presentation, she actually said that they do nicotine testing throughout, and that if any of your nicotine tests, if they know that you were a smoker, come back positive for nicotine, that you have two chances for it to come back positive. If it comes back positive a third time, you are kicked out of the program. They will not accept you. And I guess that's just pure and simple because of what we get done. They don't, I guess, well, from the videos I've been watching, some people have to breathe on this little thing so that they don't get pneumonia. I've watched videos where one lady got blood clots in her lungs afterwards due to complications and, stuff like that. So I can definitely understand it. So that pretty much answered my question. But for somebody who makes this presentation all the time, she should have been able to answer that question based on their own presentation and whatever. But whatever. My question got answered at the end. It's all good. Another thing too with Toronto Western Hospital is she said that they only do gastric bypass. They will do the vertical sleeve if there's a specific reason or need for it and the government has approved it. Other than that, no. Gastric bypass, period. Which I'm totally fine with because that's what I wanted anyways. I was hoping that they wouldn't tell me that I had to get the sleeve done because I don't want to have to deal with acid reflux for the rest of my life. Or GERD. I get enough heartburn now. If no word of a lie, if I eat too much salt or sugar, which actually helps to make it so that I don't eat that much junk anymore, which I'm totally okay with. Totally fine. Because really, that's what I'm doing this for. Because I don't want to eat that stuff anymore. It's done me no good. Really. So, yeah. So anyways, so yeah, that and that and that. And, yeah. What else? There was something else that I wanted to say. And I'm sorry, I do this. I gap. Especially on Fridays. Those are the days I have no brain. It's lovely. I love it. Yeah, so, anyways. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. When she was done the presentation, she said, "Is there any questions for me, that any of you might have for me?" There was a few. One gentleman was concerned that, he has a lot of friends who are smokers, even though he's a non-smoker and he hangs out with them. So he was worried that, being around secondhand smoke, that might interfere with their no smoking policy, and that might make it so that he ends up having too much nicotine in his system, which is totally understandable. She told him not to worry about it. No, it's secondhand smoke, so you don't get as much nicotine as you do as if you were actually inhaling off a cigarette. And there was somebody else that had another question as well, and whatever. And then the one lady, and this totally mind-fucked me, and I couldn't even believe that she had the audacity to ask. "So does this mean if we get this surgery that we're not allowed to have cookies and cake anymore?" My jaw dropped. I couldn't even believe it. My husband and I just looked at each other, and he almost burst out laughing. And as soon as we were done, and we got out of there, that is all either one of us could talk about. And it wasn't because we wanted to talk about that lady. It was because neither one of us could believe that she asked that question. You are here because you eat too much cake and too much candy and cookies and junk. You are here because you are trying to get away from that and to make yourself healthy, and nothing else has helped. You are here because this is the end of the line, and if you don't do something, you're going to end up with diabetes and high blood pressure and sleep apnea and all the different things that you can get from being overweight. You can end up with a heart attack because you're so overweight that your body just can't cope anymore. You could end up having an aneurysm because your blood pressure is so high from being overweight that, again, your body can't cope anymore. So really, yeah. So anyways, other than that silly question, it was great. And there you go. Sorry about having to put a second video in. This is all the stuff I should have talked about in the first one. It's not, so I talked about it here. Anyways, I will post on or just after July 20th. My husband and I are going to take the week prior off during the summer and stay at our trailer and go fishing and take our motorcycles out for rides and everything like that and have a great time, and then go for my appointment and see what happens from there. So until then, all of y'all have a great few months, and I will see y'all then. Those that I'm watching that I've found so far, I will see you all before then, and you will see me then. Have a good day. Bye.